Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brightops, and welcome to something completely different. We are playing a game called Legend of the Keepers. Actually, hang on one moment. Just going to quickly turn it down a bit. Still, I turned it down because I thought the noise was a bit too loud, but it's just still louder than I thought. But anyway, Legend of the Keepers is currently in development. There is a demo version of it on Steam that's completely free. It's the one we're playing right now. The general idea is that you are basically a boss monster who's running a dungeon. Though somewhat different from Wolf the Overworld, however, is, well, it's more like a corporate environment than an actual, oh, we're doing this just for the sake of evil. This is your job. Your job is literally to stop adventurers and villagers and people like that from coming into your dungeon and stealing your treasure. That's about it. Let's see, we've got the test dungeons, which, admittingly, we'll do a new one. We'll start from a new one. See, YouTube. Yeah, basically I gave the game a bit of a shot, just to see how it played. Create. Do you want to launch the tutorial? We might as well. Just to show it off a little bit. It's pretty easy to explain.
Congratulations and welcome to the Dungeons Company. As you saw on the job posting, your main task is to protect the treasures we keep in our dungeons. We don't have much time to spend training you, so please keep up. Heroes keep coming to try and take our treasures. The marketing team has worked hard to promise gold and glory to these idiotic villagers. We have a little time before they get here, so let's place our traps and our employees to prepare a defense.
Okay. So the way that this works is you have various minions, various traps, and spells that you can take advantage of. In this case, and before you start the actual thing, you get an encounter like this, where you get to actually build the dungeon. And you can try and tailor it a bit to try and counter the various people who are coming in. Since this is the tutorial, we'll only get like certain things, but when you actually play it properly, you get a bit more.
We always leave an empty room in every dungeon. You can use it to ambush the adventurers with one of your favorite spells.
Okay, so this one gets left empty?
Some rooms are dedicated to combat. This is my favorite bit. Make sure you analyze each group of adventurers. Your employees are counting on you to prepare an effective strategy. Pay attention to your monster's resistances and armor, so you don't have to send them to the infirmary.
Okay. So, currently we've got our three minions. We've got our skeleton Magos, our orc, and our ghost. And as you can see, they each have their own. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see their name. You'll see what they are, what level they are. You'll also see what abilities they have and what resistances they have. So let's see, just having a quick look at what we've got going up against. We've got our barbarian who does physical damage. We've got our thug who does primarily nature damage, which is poison and all that. And we've got a scout who also does physical damage. So let's have a look, see. We don't want the... Well, actually, we'll have the orc up front, because he's got armor and nature damage. So he can resist physical attacks, he can resist poison and stuff like that. And since he's in the front position, he'll take the attack from the barbarian and the thug. As well, we're going to set the ghost up the back, since he also at least has physical armor, and he's going up against the scout, who can attack in the back row. And lastly, we've got our skeleton Magos in the center. No one can actually attack him, from this position, so he'll get a few free shots off. And there's our Dungeon Master. And now that we've set up the dungeon, it all pans out. See, show no mercy. This is the tutorial, so we'll just... Basically, it enrages our own minions, makes them stronger, makes their attacks do more.
The job also involves eviscerating villagers. No reason work can't be fun. If you prefer, you can of course demoralize them, or terrify them until they flee like peasants. Ah, one last thing. In battle, the fastest combatants act first.
Okay. Yes, as characters level up, both heroes and your minions, they will gain skills. Such as, in this case, the Thug, he applies poison to the monster of the highest life at the start of the first fight. And how the Barbarian also applies Enrage to all his fellow heroes at the start of the fight. We also have... Heroes also have two things. They've got health and they've got morale. If you break their morale, they turn tail and run away. Whereas if you take their health, they die. Simple enough. And we've got our big boss monster, who, let's see, what do we want to do? Might as well just get rid of the bloody Thug. Run, you little bugger. And we can just kill the last one.
You did it! I knew from the start that you had potential. Know that here in Dungeons Company, we reward talent and value ambition. Shoot for the moon! And so, your training ends. I'll see you again next year for your annual evaluation. If you do a good job in protecting our treasures, you'll get the promotion you deserve.
And of course, if you fail, you get fired. So that was just the tutorial. At the moment, the only boss monster you can pick is the Slaveholder, the centaur fellow that we had before. There are clearly other monsters in development, but they haven't unlocked it just yet. They're still working on it. This is, as I said, this is just the demo. Let's see, we don't have any talent points because we haven't unlocked this particular... As you play the game, this is very much a kind of a roguelike, like Faster Than Light Travel, in that you're expected to fail a number of times. Because I'll show you. I'll show. So we've got week 1, which is an adventuring party, so we do a dungeon, and as we go through each week, we'll have the option of picking events or options in order to upgrade our people or do events to try and get gold and stuff like that. Okay, so our first group is Barbarian, an Exile, and an Elf. Who... Let's see, we've seen the Barbarian. He has the ability of he just does damage and he also enrages everyone. The Exile he does air damage to the person in the back row, but he also has the skill that after a fight he'll restore 50% morale back to someone in the party. And the Elf does ice damage to everyone, and she also has the skill she restores 50% health back to the party, to one person in the party. It can be annoying, not gonna lie. Now let's have a quick look. Well, we don't want our skeletons in the front row, because they don't take physical damage too well. So that leaves us with our gargoyle and the ghost. Let's see. In this case, I think we'll go with the Ghost. We also Ghost because, well, the only one who attacks the front row directly is the Barbarian, and, well, we do have physical armor. Fairly good physical armor, too. So, yeah, fairly good. Let's see, back row needs to be able to resist air, so let's see, Gargoyle can take air like a champ, so can the Skeleton Archer. So how much damage can you do? 50... I'm inclined to go with the Gargoyle here, simply because, well, tragically, our Skeleton Archer doesn't have a lot of health, and there's a good chance he will just die before he gets an attack off. Because here's the thing, your monsters and minions will go down. They don't. If they get killed, they don't stay dead. They come back. It's just we have our things. Let's see, and I think last we'll have the Skeleton Archer, because of the two of them, he is. Yeah, he can. Unless, hang on, let's just quickly check. Okay, we'll go with the Magus, simply because he can get a first strike in on the elf, which will, since she's very weak, she does ice damage, but she's very weak to fire, so he will do additional damage. So that's our first party. We can also set up traps. In this case, I believe we'll go with a Rallying Horn, which does morale damage to all of these guys. I plan to try and morale damage the Barbarian to death to get rid of him. But it also enrages the next group of monsters, which is what we're going to be doing. Now let's see, who do we set up here? We can set up Piggy, because he can tank physical damage and ice damage too. So he's a pretty good front line person. We can also throw in, let's see, you can take air, yeah, we'll put you in the back lines, because you can tank air damage as well as throw some ice around. And last but not least, I'm gonna go with the Orc. Our orc fellow would be good for this one. Let's see, Spell Room, another trap. In this case, we'll go Poison Dart. And then if they get through all that, they reach the boss. Yep, you've enraged them. We're gonna start off by trying to see what we can do. Yep, let's see if we can lower... Because the Gargoyle can do damage to everyone, but his main one also does morale damage. Let's start working on the elf. Okay. Unfortunate, but it happens. Let's see, we've enraged the next group. We've also weakened the morale a little bit further, so this Barbarian's close to breaking. Alright, righty. Bit of a freezing breath. Doesn't really... It doesn't so much do the damage, but it does slow them down, which will give us a first strike. And turns out, spellcasters aren't so good at taking physical damage. Who would have ever have guessed? And there goes the first party. Let's see, when you kill heroes, you gather blood. When you scare them away, you get tears. You also get gold. And we have the option of picking stuff. We can either pick a new type of minion, who will become available to us going forward, or we can just go for straight up gold. And this will change up every time we do a thing. In this case, I'm inclined to go with the fire elemental, because having a few minions is helpful. We have the option of we can invest some gold into training up our monsters, or going to the engineer, which can upgrade our traps, or we can take a random event, which could be for better or for worse. I'm inclined to go with the trainer this time around. Let's see, where do we want to start? Because as you spend gold to upgrade people, obviously, but let's see. And this unlocks new abilities and all that fun stuff. We'll invest a little bit into the gargoyle because he not only gains more health and I can't remember if he gained anything else stat-wise, but he gains the passive, applies one demoralize to all heroes at the start of the gargoyle's turn. So for every turn the gargoyle's alive, he saps their morale. Which can be pretty solid. Let's see, we can also... because minions also cost different amounts to upgrade. They're not all created equally, after all. Let's see... yeah, we'll go with the Skeleton Magos, who gains a bit of stat-wise, but he also gains a new ability that he can throw a fireball into the person at the front of the party. Okay, week 3. Let's see the event. Employee Brawl. 2 of your employees have been caught red-handed brawling like 2 elves for a hairbrush. Will you be tough and suspend them? Let's see. I'm not seeing any benefits or negatives for doing so. Yeah, there's no point going to the merchant. We can't really afford anything, because we don't have the gold for it, so another event. Oh, shit. One of your employees was found dead this morning. It must be some kind of retaliation after a brawl that occurred previously. Well, there goes Will the Ghost. Annoying. Actually, we'll have a quick look at the employees. I think, can you... okay, you can't actually remove... you tragically cannot actually rename them. Which sucks, but what have you. Let's see, another adventuring party. Let's see, this time we've got a priestess, who, let's see, can attacks with air, up the front. Skill, replaces one of her penalties with a bonus at the start of her turn. Alright, we've got a thug in the middle, so he does his poison, nature damage poison thing. And we've got the exile at the back. So, morale. Okay. So, air and nature. Do we have anyone who can tank both? From the looks of it, our Skeleton Magos, strangely enough, can take... he doesn't have any negatives to nature, and he has armor against air, so he'll actually have a legitimate chance of surviving this. Let's see... We'll also go with the gargoyle up the back. And... our Yetigo in the middle. Let's see, we also have a trap. We could go with the Circular Saw, which does physical damage, or we can go with the Horn again, which will still do morale damage, but it'll also enrage this group of minions here. Let's see, spell, another trap in this case. Yeah, Poison Dart's a good one. And yes, it is actually a fact that the monsters you get to pick for each room is randomized from who's available. at the time. Let's see, do we have... Yep, skeleton archer up front. We'll have big scary guy, a big scary guy in the middle, and we'll throw in our... Actually, can our fire elemental can go last. So let's see how this runs. Right, there's our passive ability. It does demoralize, so they will start to take morale damage on their turns. Alright, the Fire Magos died to poison, which isn't great. And there goes that little... Yeah, tragically that little debuff. There goes the Yeti. And we'll do a little bit more... Basically a little bit more health damage, a little bit more morale damage. Because yes, while... Yeah, he can heal himself of morale damage, but he can't heal everyone. And that can work to our advantage. Alright, we can go for straight up damage, which is an option. Intimidation, so less morale plus applies Terrified, which boosts morale taken from attacks and traps. In this case, we're going to go with the Fire Whip, simply because it also applies burn, so it will do some fire damage as well. Just to make sure that this bloody priestess dies at the start of their turn. Right, Skeleton Archer's dead. Not great. Let's see. Magma Ball. There goes the Exile, and they've bled out. Another adventurer falls. Another adventuring party falls. Okay. We can go for money, we can go for Poison Cloud, which is a trap, or we can go for, in this case what I'm going to do is a Dark Magos, to replace the ghosts we have lost. Alrighty. Okay, we'll go to the engineer this time, just to try and upgrade our traps. In this case, we're getting some work out of the rallying horn, which basically what this does is just the first one will increase the amount of morale damage it does. As things go up, it will also add different effects, like if we could upgrade the rallying horn again, it still does the same amount of morale damage, but it enrages the next two groups of monsters rather than just the next one. So there are benefits. Okay, we're going to choose an employee to protect the sales department during a business trip. Effectively, what this means is that one of our minions will be basically unavailable for a set amount of time, but in return, we get immediate rewards for it. Like, for example, we could send our orc away. He'll be gone for 12 weeks for 137 gold, but we also gain an item, which can be beneficial. In this case, the Demonic Pendant, each hero has 30% chance to be affected by Demoralized at the start of a dungeon, which honestly is worth grabbing. Let's see. We could organize another business trip, which will basically mean another minion is off the thing. So we can do it. We have the spare minions do it, or we could just go with an event, which is a bit more random. In this case, yeah, we'll go with the event. Sorcerer's Apprentice. The lab assistant is about to make some modifications to one of your traps. You know that he's always messing up and that the trap will be unusable. Fixing it will take 5 weeks. Yeah, we can... Yeah, we can fire this useless git. See what happens. Lost Adventurer. While wandering around in the corridors this morning, you are come face to face with a human. He seems as surprised as you are. What are you going to do? We're going to capture him for a decent amount of gold. Alright, another adventuring party. We have the option of either we can go with the basic adventurers, or we can go a bit harder with veterans. In this case, we'll go with adventurers, because our group isn't that particularly advanced at the moment. Okay, Bone Catapult. Or Poison Dart. In this case, I think we'll go Bone Catapult, simply because I want to get rid of the Barbarian as quickly as possible. They are nasty creatures. Alright. We also want someone who can take a fairly large amount of physical damage. In this case, we'll send our Boarman up the back, since he's got the most physical armor and can tank air pretty well as well, because that's where most of this early damage is going to be. Gargoyle can be up the front, because he also has physical damage. And we'll give our Dark Magos a try, since they do morale damage, and if we can knock off the Barbarian before anything else, that will help us out a lot. And we might as well take advantage of our new and improved Rallying Horn. Okay. Assuming that the Barbarian has not run away at this point, we still need to focus on the back line. So physical armor. We'll throw the Fire Elemental, because him and the Goblin here have the same physical armor. But the Elemental also has air, and has just generally more health. Which is why he won't die. We'll also send Yeti up the front. And why not? We'll send Skeleton Archer in the middle. I'm sure he'll... Actually... We'll send in the Goblin. Goblin seems like a decent pick. And if they get through all that, they get to face the Centaur. Ooh, that is a good start. Because it means... Because effectively, the Barbarian's going to take a crap ton of just an absolute crap ton of morale damage just off the get-go. In fact, I'm pretty sure that considering all the stacks against him, I'm fairly certain that on his turn he will just break and run without actually doing anything. Yeah, he's run away. Nice. Alright, 50% chance of stunning the target. No, but we did still do a fair bit of damage, so... Be all that ends all. So the Magnus is pretty good at... Basically, because her attacks always do morale damage, but she also does debuffs. So, take with that what you will. Sadly, the Boarman has gone down. So has the Magos, but... Considering this is they went through the first dungeon and the first group of enemies, one of them's gone and they've taken a fair beating. Yeah, we've done pretty well. Blade thrust. Just a quick stab. Unfortunately, it would appear that the fire elemental didn't make it, but that's fine. We still murdered the crap out of them. And that we have the option of items. We can either pick some new ones, or we can upgrade the one we have, which I'm honestly gonna do, because the second level basically just increases the odds of them being demoralized from the get-go. Alrighty. We'll go to the trainer again, because, well, it's time to give our people need more in the way of training. We'll start with the Magos. And let's see. Yeah, we'll train up our skeleton archer a bit, so he has more health and thus has a better chance of surviving. Alright, we'll take the event. Potion of Evolution. Employee found a strange flask in the broom closet and drank it all in one gulp. Don't expect to see a growth in intelligence, as the employee seems to have gained muscular mass. So they've gone up a level for free. Doesn't cost us anything. And yes, the collectors. Some tax officials have come to collect. Good job they drink blood. The suit and tie vampires are here to collect taxes. However, blood is more valuable than gold coins to them. They could even grant you a monetary compensation in exchange for blood collection, and you would especially be exempted from taxes. So we have the option of we can sacrifice some of our boss monster's life, which recovers a little bit every week, or, in this case what we're going to do, we can pay the resource of blood in order to get 250 gold. Alright, and we'll go one last adventuring thing, and then I'll call us after this one, because we've demonstrated the game pretty well by this point. Let's see, we've got Barbarian, same as usual, the Elf, who does some healing, and a new one, the Ninja, who's an area of effect nature damage, applies poison 8 to the monster with the highest life at the start of the first fight, and all resistances increased by 15%. Not great. Not great at all. Let's see, so nature and ice are our things we have to worry about. The problem is that nature and ice, because the thing is, most of our people don't really have good. They either have one or the other. They don't really have both. Which is annoying, but we do the best with what we've got. Do that rallying horn, just to get the buff. Now let's see. Is anyone good against... Yeah, this second line's gonna be in a bit of trouble. Not gonna lie. And you know what? Fire. We'll try and burn the elf out. And some poison damage. So here they come. The enrage and the poison debuff, not fun, but whatevers. Let's see, we also did a fair bit of morale damage, but also tiredness, which reduces damage dealt reduced by 20%, which is a good one to have, honestly. See, Magos has gone down, Pigman has gone down. And there goes the gargoyle. Sucks, but not much we can do about it. Barbarian is gone, though, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. So we can focus our efforts a bit. See, Elf took Fireball. Nice. We'll finish the Elf off, because that way it's dead. We don't have to worry about it. And... gone. Let's see, pile of bones. Minus so much morale, jumps to the hero position behind the target. The target is affected by demoralized. Or in this case, I'm inclined to go with Ballista. Ballista's a good one, because it does straight up physical damage, but it also applies broken armor, which can make life a lot easier. But let's see, how long have we been recording? You know what, I'll push ahead just a little bit more, just for the sake of it. A little bit more gold towards the minions. Let's see. Okay, we'll give our Dark Magus another upgrade because this passive is pretty good. Applies elemental weakness to all heroes when the Magus is defeated, so resistance reduced by 20%. That can be good. Very good indeed. Let's see, we'll go Plunder, just to show this off. Basically, we have the option of we pick a place and we raid it. And in exchange we can get... there's a risk of injury. So, there's a risk of injury, but in return we'll get gold and potential for other things. Like, if we go for the workshop, we don't get any gold, but we can upgrade a trap for free. Which, we're going to try and do. Yeah, the volunteers have forced an engineer to make a trap for them, and to serve as a guinea pig for the trap. Test results highly conclusive. They have even brought a researcher back whom has been spared in exchange for a trap upgrade. They have emerged unscathed. So our rallying horn is now level 3 without having to cost us anything. Which is a good thing. Office tour. While walking through the corridors, you notice a monster waiting for a job interview. You could hire the candidate right now without intermediaries. So in this case, we can pick up a fresh gargoyle. See, have a quick look at the roster. We can have 12, but no. No, we don't really need another one. See, we don't have the blood, but... now we'll go for the event. Work accident. An employee has spilled a burning hot drink on you in front of the blood fray machine. Puck, you're my life. 60 damage taken to the boss, so he'll recover that every week. I could have given up a fair bit of some more health in order to get gold, but we didn't. Oh well. And you know what, we'll go with a veteran squad. It's a bit harder, but the rewards will hopefully be greater. Alrighty. So first off, Rallying Horn. Just flat out, simply because... well, because he now buffs he'll buff both group of monsters within rage, as well as do them as morale damage. Let's see, Berserker. So you do physical damage, you imply enrage, and yet the passive you can't be affected by bleeding. Okay. I have no idea how to pronounce this class, but he gives morale back to one hero after a fight, and he can't be demoralized, and we have the Elf, which is a pain in the ass. Okay, so front, back, and all around. So who's got... well, our Orc has the best physical damage, so he's up front. the... Let's see, wind air damage. Who's got good air? Our skeleton archer will take the back. And preferably someone with ice resist would be... We'll send the gargoyle. Since he also has air... He has air resistance, he also has ice. And a decent amount of physical, so he will potentially survive for a while. Alright. You can go first. You can go second. Now let's see, which one do we want to do? I'm gonna go with the ice guy simply because he may be useful. And we'll also set up a ballista just to soften them up if they do manage to get through everything. Here they come. Oh, the elf also took the morale thing. Nice. Bit of damage to everyone, bit of morale damage too. Alright, and see if we can kill this elf as quickly as possible. Because if it dies, then... Because the sooner we can get rid of the elf, they don't heal anymore. That's one less thing we have to worry about. See, do a bit more damage. So the berserk is likely going to be gone soon. Very soon, in fact. He'll be gone now. So he's dead. We don't have to worry about him anymore. And these two heal each other after the fight. That's fine. Let's see... No point doing that one. We've already enraged the monsters, so we might as well just do a straight up fire damage. Because damage can be good. Let's see... Just some lightning, because we can. And because she's gone down, she's weakened them as well. He's not stunned, annoying, but whatever. Oh, they only heal once after a thing. And the trap gets both of them. Nice. Okay, we can either buff our dungeon keeper. We can go for another bone catapult. Or what I'm gonna do is pick up the flame eater here. So yes, the game goes on like this until you reach week 52, at which point you go up against a champion squad, whether you want to or not. It can be, honestly, rather brutal. But I think we'll call it there. And maybe continue this next time if people are interested in seeing me continue to play this. I'll leave a link to this game in the description of this video, just so people can check it out, because it's free. But until next time, my name is BrightOps, and I look forward to hearing from you.